Welcome to another episode of Treknicity, a Star Trek podcast, the show where we arm the photons and take the deep dive on all things Star Trek. I'm Lars.
And I'm Patrick, and I'll arm your mother's photons.
Oh,
yeah, I just went there. I don't even know who I'm talking to. I'm not even talking to you, because arming your mother's photons would be really fucked up. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, in this episode, we're going to go back and take a look at seasons 1 and 2 of Star Trek Picard. We're going to summarize and review them. Then we're going to have a look and discuss the upcoming season 3 that hits next week.
And we're also going to cover the highs, lows, real lows, Kurtzman bullshit, and anything that made us, one or both of us, want to take our TVs and literally throw them all the way at Paramount Minus, wherever they may be.
Yep.
Yeah. Because this was a really cool, so far this has been a really cool and completely unnecessary series.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with the pretty cool, but definitely unnecessary. But
well, there's cool shit, but yeah. We'll get that in when we get to the synopsis of seasons. So let's just start with season 1.
Okay. So season 1 picks up, or starts out with somebody young woman running for her life, being chased by these mysterious assailants, yada, yada, yada. And,
Mystery box.
Yep. And then she basically gets, toasty fried. And then next thing you know, we come across Picard, who is now old and retired, and living at his family farm in France, Chateau Picard.
Vineyard. Thank you. Not
me.
a farm, but a vineyard.
Fine. Vineyard. His vineyard. Chateau Picard. Then we basically spend the entire season dealing with Romulans, Borg,
homicidal synths.
Yeah, homicidal synths, because they've been banned because of an uprising. Okay, Picard either hallucinating or dreaming about Data, and
especially when he dies. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, and
he gets better.
He gets better. He goes back to B4. That's terrible. Yeah. Anyways, so it basically follows him through trying to figure out who this mysterious woman will be, while reconnecting with his old first officer, Rafi. And we get a visit by 7 of 9, and we get a visit by Riker and Troy and the cut and paste fleet.
That was... Yeah.
And a mysterious, religious order called the Zatvash, and who are Romulans who hate all things synthetic, yada, yada, yada.
But synths are a big threat because they saw a prophecy, but it was actually for the synths. How to call the big bads to big mechanical tentacles from the sky portal. Yeah, there's a sky beam in this one to come down and kill all the organics, kill all the humans, folks. They took the plot from Futurama. They took the plot of season 1 from goddamn Futurama.
Yeah. So,
then Picard dies. They stick him in a body, and they said, "Oh, you're still going to be old and shitty, just slightly less old and shitty."
Yeah. So it is revealed during season 1 that Picard has some form of terminal illness that is inoperable, and of course, when he actually does die at the end of the season, and then
so they have more data time.
Yeah. So yeah, and then they basically put him into an android body that is the same. It's the same body, complete with all the frailties. They couldn't revamp him a little bit. I think the budget didn't allow for
phaser arm or some shit.
Yeah, or maybe a mech or something. like or like another Sung android. Oh, jeez, that'd be funny.
Yeah, it's as you can tell, that was the break point. I think you canceled your Paramount Minus subscription for a little bit after that one.
Yeah, from the end of season 1 until just before the beginning of season 2. I just couldn't do it. I mean, seriously, it was. Well, I mean, we'll cover that in the Kurtzman crap and the bullshittery. But
Yeah.
since let's talk about characterizations in
Yeah.
this season. So, of course, we have the title character. We have Patrick Stewart reprising his role as Jean-Luc Picard.
And let's get Riker and Troy while we're going in there, because obviously they get more time to develop and just explore them, and the Rikers are just really they've kind of settled into their life, and dead kid. Other kid's not dead, but there's a dead kid, so that we can all be tragic and sad and broken. And Picard, because he resigned over the Romulans getting blowed up, he's broken. And then there's who else do we have?
Well, we have his assistants, Laris, and I am drawing a blank on the male, and I just heard it on Treksperts quiz last week.
Not good. Yeah, those guys, they're cool, but they stay on Earth. They're there for a couple episodes.
Yeah.
They're solid. They're Romulan. That's their job.
Pretty much, yeah. They hang around in Chateau Picard, and
then we get to the very broken Raffi.
Yep.
And the very broken Rios.
Yeah. Raffi, whose house is at Vasquez Rocks.
Of course it is. Literally, they drive up to Vasquez fucking Rocks, and she's got a house there.
Yep. Right in the parking lot where season 1 episode of TOS Arena was filmed in the same fucking parking lot.
And we went there once. I stood in that parking lot.
Yep.
I'd say we were probably in Raffi's backyard.
I got a picture of you standing up on Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah. Not impressed, Star Trek.
Yeah. So you have the drunken Raffi. You have the appearance by Broken 7 of 9, who has become a member of a vigilante group called the Rangers.
I'll just assume they stole that from Babylon 5.
Yeah,
anyway,
I was gonna say. And then, of course, you've got Agnes Girardi, who was
kind of broken. And gets more broken.
Although, I'm sorry. Look, I'm telling you.
The theme is let's get a bunch of broken characters and have them be broken at least twice during 10 episodes.
Yeah, but the other thing is,
which they don't appear in.
Which was hilarious when I first saw Agnes Girardi, like the whole time I kept saying, "We are a sex bomb," because she played Kim, the drummer in damn it,
in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Thank you. Yes, and so of course the entire time I'm just like, oh yeah, this is going to be funny, and yeah, that was we'll
get to season 2 and Sex Bomb tries to assimilate us.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Borgatti. Then we have the Romulan. We have the Romulan who I guess knew Picard because he was involved with, I don't know,
some honest all woman Romulan monks. I even forget the name, and I don't really care.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course we've got the subplot with the Borg and the Romulans basically cannibalizing the Borg cubes because I guess they've now been shut down, or they managed to shut down some of the Borg cubes in the Alpha Quadrant. So the Romulans went in.
To see Hugh, and he dies.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
Icheb.
Icheb, he dies.
Which, by the way, I heard that Mano Inti Raimi was
killing him.
Was pretty salty for them not being able to reprise his role as Icheb.
Yeah, if he'd had a few episodes and then died, it wouldn't have been so bad. At least Hugh got to do some stuff and then die.
Yep, and then didn't 7 of 9 take on and become the Borg Queen for a hot second?
Yeah, she assimilated the cube and went on a kill spree.
Yeah.
It
So
was
this basically very very convoluted plot line, all centered around this woman who is basically, spoiler alert, she is an actual organic biological descendant of Data.
Data. Yeah, because everybody's favorite c- commander who wanted to rip Data apart in the beginning, Bruce Maddox, shows up. Oh, he gets killed.
By Girardi.
Yeah, so she could be even more broken.
Exactly.
Also,
It,
also there's a Romulan or two in Starfleet, because of course there is,
yes.
pulling all the strings and everybody's kind of knowing behind. Either way, I would say what defines this season? Sheer fucking hubris.
Yes. Absolutely.
That was because they mystery boxed the hell out of everything. Everything was, oh shit, there's this new surprise. Oh shit, there's a new surprise. Oh shit, they beamed here. Oh hey, it's the Rikers. Yay, we can have them shooting the shit and kind of doing all kinds of just side stuff. And
Cool.
oh no,
Look, coolest
I mean,
part of the entire season was Picard having pizza with the Rikers.
yeah, I will say, so yeah, there were. That and the fact that they kept the supernova from the Abrams movies. They kept that one in.
Well, and the thing is that
canon in the Prime universe.
yeah, I mean to be fair, that was technically the Prime Universe event.
Yeah.
And then of course
Right.
the bulk of the Abrams verse movies take place in the alternate timeline caused by traversing the black hole caused by
Right.
collapsing the supernova.
Right. But the whole point of this is that this is the first time in a Prime universe anything that the Abrams movie is tied in permanently. So there are both of those movies, because Star Trek and bullshit doesn't exist, are ours now. Yay!
Yay. But the other thing is, I mean, it does.
At least they didn't give us an Apple store on the ship.
Nobody will ever do that. So again, as you say, the boiled down point is this is the result of man's hubris, and of course,
man's hubris.
Kurtzman.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, and again, I mean, look, I was super excited for this series to come out because, of course, I wanted to see Sir Pat Stew reprise his role, and I knew that Brent Spiner was going to be back, and
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention another damn Soong, because there's always another Soong.
Well, that was in season 2, right?
No, season 1.
Oh,
At the end,
of course.
we get another Soong in season 2, and he makes another daughter. Looks like exactly like the one from season 1.
Yep.
And we got to keep reusing these actors.
It was like an anthology series. So
Yeah.
at the end of the season, effectively everything comes to a head where they come down to this planet where all these synthetics are. They're all kind of basically Soong offshoots or descendants of some kind, with another Soong played by Brent Spiner, who then give the artificial body to Picard as he finally succumbs to his disease and all that jazz.
Just before the cut and paste fleet comes in to save his ass.
Right.
And we do mean cut and paste fleet.
Because it is literally dozens upon dozens of the same starship just show up. Like somebody ran
Control C, Control V, 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 Control. Yeah, I'm not going to continue.
I swear it's like somebody
broke their control or their V key on that one.
I
swear.
Yeah, or they ran out of money and had to come up with something last second.
Well, they could have just grabbed all the models from Star Trek Online, which is apparently what they did for Star Trek for the second season. Is they pulled some of the STO ships and modeled them in.
Right. So
there you go. Put them at a distance, and they'll look fine.
Well,
because
okay.
nobody's going to get 4K prints and scrutinize the shit out of this for all the slight details that are wrong, because the big details are there. So let's rank this bitch.
So, what do you? I mean, how do you want to rank this? I mean, like, how do you actually want to determine the ranking?
Let's go on a scale from Nemesis to First Contact, which is Nemesis, Insurrection, Generations, First Contact.
But hang on, Generations is before First Contact.
First Contact is at the top.
Yeah.
Then Generations, then Insurrection, and then Nemesis for quality.
Ooh.
Those are.
I would say
First Contact is the best one, and Nemesis is shite.
If I really had to give my personal feelings, I would say Nemesis. Because I really, at the end of it, despite the fact that they had all the neat little callbacks and all that stuff and all the little fan service items, I just felt like they really did not try. They didn't try hard enough. The other thing is that I guess part of it could also be that they've made a fundamental shift in how they do these seasons, because now that they're all exclusively on streaming, you're not getting the 24, 25, 26 episode seasons like we did when we were, like when we were teenagers or, years ago.
Which can be okay.
You're getting 10 episode seasons, and, what they're doing is they're doing these overarching entire seasons long stories. And I don't like those. I think one of the most beautiful things about Strange New Worlds was they went back to the episodic format.
I can kind of agree. I will say that for a limited series, which Picard should have been one season, if it had been one season and a limited series, the 10 episode one single story arc could have worked better.
Maybe.
So yeah, I'll put it somewhere between Insurrection and Nemesis. It doesn't make me want to rage quit like you did. Of course, my expectations were at Nemesis levels by the time we got to this one.
Yeah. I mean, I know I talked it down severely the entire time. And it just again, I was so excited.
I just got to watch in the last month, so that tell you anything, folks?
So,
okay.
Let's move on to season 2.
Okay, so let's go with this one. They get Rios is now in command of the new Stargazer, runs into some weird thing, spitting out, calling for Picard. Picard shows up. Oh no, it's the Borg, and the Borg try to do something. They blow up the ship. Oh no, jump into alternate timeline where everybody's evil, and it makes the mirror universe seem kinder and gentler.
Yeah.
Because, of course, now Earth is even more xenophobic and evil. And Picard likes killing planets, and 7 of 9 is no longer Borg and the president of Earth.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't throw a damn Time Lord into this shit.
No, they did throw Q in.
Yeah, because we do at some point, Q shows up and says, hey, I'm going to be an asshole through the season. Because it's Q, of course. Yeah. But we never figure out what Q's up to until the very, 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 very end, because we got a mystery box and have a twist every episode.
What a twist.
What a twist. What a twist. What a twist. Stop giving us twists. Just tell a story.
And again, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, it was another season-long arc heading towards an ultimate conclusion, but you have all these pieces in play. You have Jurati, you have the Borg Queen, you have Rios, and then then they go back in time, and he meets
40 years after Kirk and company showed up in 84. They show up in 2024. And of course, we're having to fudge things a lot more here. Somehow that punk rocker that Spock nerve pinched out, made it down from San Fran to L.A., and he's played his same old shit on the same old King Boombox.
Yep.
Until 2024.
Although that was kind of cool that they brought Kirk Thatcher back to reprise the role. That was pretty cool.
It was, to be honest, that actually was pretty cool.
There's a couple of nice little fan service callbacks to Star Trek 4.
Like when Rio says he's from Peru, he only works in outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, young Romulan warrior dude became Starfleet. He gets killed in like the second episode.
Yep.
As they go flinging themselves back through time, and to do that, they had to hook up the Borg Queen.
Yep.
So, of course, they crash and land in Picard at Chateau Picard because nobody's living at the Vineyard right now.
Yes, because there's the story is that it's been abandoned since following around World War II, because apparently when the Nazis occupied France, they occupied Chateau Picard, so the family went running to England, which is now finally retconned as to why the French Jean-Luc Picard has a British accent.
And I will call you Han Solo.
Yeah.
It's that shit again. Let's retcon a reason.
Yep. You retconned something that didn't need to be retconned. I mean, nobody cared. Nobody really cared why a Frenchman had a British accent. Nobody cared until now.
Because it was Sir Pat, and he's awesome.
So the kind of the main subplots of this entire season are Picard dealing with the Borg, Picard dealing with the ghosts of his dead mother.
So she was nuts and hanged herself. That's what we find out by the end, even though we get some convoluted monsters and weird bullshit.
Well, we come to find out that the monsters in his dreams and memories was actually that of his father, who he thought was abusive and harmful, when it turns out he was actually just trying to protect the mother.
From offing herself, and Picard helped her die. Yay!
Yep, and Picard accidentally gave in to her pleas and gave her the ability to end her life. So he's dealing with the guilt of that as well, coming to that realization. So there's that. There's Q. There's the story of the Picard who is part of the Jupiter mission, whom the guy Adam Sung, who created his synthetic daughters who keep dying for one reason or another due to some...
Q fixes the last one, of course.
Yep.
We'll get back to her in a minute, though. Then there's a subplot where they're trying to make sure that young Picard gets on her flight. There are just so many subplots. They're trying to find out what the time stream is, because the Borg Queen's just trickling it along just enough. They managed to find... One of the things they managed to find out is that they got forgot her name. Doctor
Girardi
gets into Borg Queen's brain, kind of semi-merges with her. Borg Queen tried to take her over, but Girardi steals coordinates, which leads us to Guinan. Because we saw Guinan at the beginning of the season, so we knew that. But we get a younger Guinan who, for some reason, doesn't recognize the Picard she met 150 years ago on site. Or as it was 170, it was like the 1850s when she was hanging out with Mark Twain and shit.
Right, and the thing is that it was also, I think they kind of explained that by this Guinan had not traveled to that point yet. So it was a younger version of her who had time traveled to the 21st century, had stayed there for some time, and then kind of bounced around through times, and ultimately the Whoopi Goldberg version of Guinan ends up being the one who meets Picard in the past. So they
somehow I completely missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, then there was the one episode where Guinan and Picard get arrested by the FBI dude, who they eventually talk out of things after Q and Guinan meet. Because for the first time for the last time.
Yeah, because it turns out that the guy as a kid had an extraterrestrial experience, he accidentally stumbled across some Vulcans.
And they tried to mind meld him, and of course, So there was that episode. And then, of course, they had to save Picard chick again. And this time, the Watcher who was watching over her, who turned out to be a Romney who looked exactly like the other one that Picard left back in the 25th century. Of course, she manages to die.
Yep.
And Rios decides to stay in the past. And Soong's daughter that Q cured goes off running and gets a message and meets up with one Wesley Crusher who says, "Hey, you want to be a traveler? Sure."
Yeah. Okay. So on that,
I enjoyed the scene, but come on.
I mean, that was a nice little tie-in to that TOS episode with Gary Seven. So Gary in the episode of the original series,
the Watcher. That was the Watcher chick, though.
Well, no. Well, she was a supervisor. Yes, Laris was a supervisor. And what happens is that Wesley is a traveler, and we find out that the travelers are the ones who set up the supervisors. So Gary Seven was a supervisor. Of course, Laris's character, whoever she was in the episode,
Romney chick.
Yeah, is a supervisor, and then Soong's daughter actually gets offered the role of being a supervisor as well. So,
because why not? We need a reason to bring Wesley in. Oh, and Rios stays back because he finds a girlfriend and a kid.
Yep.
And apparently they did some really cool shit.
Yes.
And hung out at Guidance Bar with Renee Picard.
And then at the very end of it, we find out.
I forgot. One of the things they had to do was they had to trade the ship in for the new Borg Queen, who happens to be Borgatti. I mean, Jurati and Borg Queen kind of assimilate. She kind of assimilated Borgatti. Yeah, Jurati. I can't now. Yeah, now you got me messed up on this. She assimilates Jurati, except Jurati kind of takes control, and they make a deal, and they make a kinder, gentler collective, which is who called Picard in the first place. Picard. They of course return back to their time. Picard figures it out, and
and the reason why, and the thing is, this is also the Q subplot, and the thing is, we find out.
Q dies.
Q is dying. And he dies at the end of the season. He uses his last wisp of power to send them back.
And that's after the big gay hug, because we know that Picard and Q were. If they'd had a little more time, it was going to be it'd have been a lemon party and shit. I swear. Don't Google it. You don't want to know.
That's not the kind of thing I thought we would talk about on Treknicity. But all right then. So
okay. So, yeah, let's get that. That's pretty much it. Back to status quo.
Well, okay.
Except that now Seven's going to probably take over or something because she's going to become Starfleet.
Well, she does. I mean, at the very end.
We do that in season 3, but let's talk about season 2 characters. Everybody's still broken as shit.
Yeah, at the end of season 1, Rafi and Seven get the lesbian thing going on. We find out
they keep that energy going on.
Yeah, and in season 2, they go through some troubles, but eventually they kind of find their way back to each other, and then of course the cool thing with 7 of 9 is that Starfleet finally drops the anti-Borg ban, and she's allowed to join Starfleet and is commissioned by Picard as a Starfleet officer in the field. And then we come to find out she ends up commanding the Stargazer because Rios is gone. Rios is in the past now.
So we resolved a lot of little stories, got rid of some extra characters. So now we can bring back season 3. Can bring back everybody. I would say this is pretty much all the same things that we could complain about in season 1 return for season 2.
There was one other thing that at the very end of season 2, which I felt was kind of a slap in the face to canon, but they retconned a way to explain it, and that is when basically because Adam Soong's his laboratories in in tatters. It's all been destroyed because his daughter basically wormed it and killed all of his data and all his research and stuff. So he opens up a file cabinet and pulls out an old file folder, and on there is, I want to say, the eugenics program, which Project Con. I'm glad that Discord cuts out does the auto noise suppression on that, because I don't have to hear that annoying sound from you. So yeah, I mean, it basically pulls out an old file folder, and it's Project Con. So the thing is that Con is part of he took place in the eugenics wars, which according to Star Trek history took place in the 1990s, like 92 to 96. Well, this story takes place in 2024. So they say the reason why is that Starfleet's records were spotty. They even say, and I want to say Encounter at Farpoint, they say that Earth's records were spotty at best. Even may even said it. Spock might even have said it. So they're thinking.
I'm wondering when they get between this, our time, where we got protesters from season 1 of from episode 1 of Strange New Worlds with signs with at least one flag from a certain candidate from 2020, that election, to or that there's from the 2020 election, or was it 2016? I don't know. I don't know where they put the things. When do they get that to the weird ass courts that we see in Encounter at Farpoint, to what happens in Star Trek First Contact?
Well, I mean,
that's 50 years, folks.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
50 years from next year to that.
Yeah, because
also, I can't wait till the Europa mission launches next year.
Yeah, I think that'll happen, because that's where That's where Star Trek history is starting to diverge from real history.
Yeah, they kind of need, like a thing I said, they needed to take a retcon point and say, from this time forward, this is where Earth history and Star Trek Earth history separates.
Yeah, because there's so many. Like I watched last night. I watched
It's getting worse.
I watched the season 1 finale of TNG, which was titled the Neutral Zone, and there, like Data's talking to one of the characters, and he's like, "Well, how do we turn on this boob tube? The TV." And he's like, television. Well, that that didn't last very much past the mid 21st century. And it's like, well, surely it would have had to
You're
end
not wrong.
before that, because World War III would have happened, at some point pretty soon. But I don't know. I mean, they may be trying to muddle the whole waters thing and try to combine the eugenics wars with World War III. I don't know.
Yeah, Pike did that in episode 1 of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
We had the eugenics wars, which became the something wars, which became the World War III, which just became known as the war.
Yeah.
Let's just muddle this shit together.
Yeah, because they knew that they knew that it was just there wasn't enough time.
Rank this. Let's rank this shit.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna put this at generations. I will not. There's no way I'm gonna put this at First Contact level. I would say generations, because it was definitely better than Nemesis. It was probably even better than Insurrection, because of the Q element and the wrapping up of his story. That was pretty.
Yeah,
that was pretty bittersweet.
Yeah, even with all the flaws, I think we could put it there. We could put it around generations. It's no First Contact, but hey, that's because it doesn't have everybody in it. Oh, wait a minute, that's season 3.
Yeah. So season 3 is going to be effectively the TNG reunion. It's at this point, as far as I understand, it's going to have everybody save for Wesley, because Wesley's off doing the Traveler thing. So we already know LeVar Burton's back. Brent Spiner is back as Lore.
Because why the hell not?
Yeah, somehow a Lore that's aged. Okay. Either way, okay.
I just think I think they just didn't want to spring for the de-aging.
Probably Frakes, Sirtis.
A quick side note: the way they did Q, that was great. He appears like he did back in the series, and with some de-aging, and then I might as well catch up. Snaps, and he's too old guy.
Yeah, because he can look
Perfect.
anyway. Yeah,
5 seconds, and they fixed they retconned it.
Yeah,
they fixed it. They fixed it.
They
then they didn't have to spend money on making him young.
Right. They gave the perfect explanation. You know, just like, oh, you know what? Since you're old, I'll just catch up with you, and bam.
Problem solved.
Oh,
anyway.
Actually, before we talk about season 3, did you catch the little Easter egg in the episode where Q is basically stalking Renee Picard? She's reading a book, and the book is by the character played by Avery Brooks in the episode of DS9 where they go back in time.
I didn't see the title. I saw the title. I didn't see the author.
Yeah. So it's written by Avery Brooks' character in that episode where they go back and...
Benny.
Yes, thank you.
Benny, I forget his last name.
Whatever. Still, you know...
Nondescript name that doesn't sound black, because that's what that episode is about.
Pretty much. So yeah, nice little Easter egg there. Now, season 3, of course, again, it's basically being billed as the TNG season 8 that never happened. It's a reunion of all the main cast except for Will Wheaton, and we got a couple other ones in there, again, like Lore, and then apparently
some new bad guy.
Moriarty is back.
Oh yeah, Moriarty shows up. Why?
And then of course the big bad is what's her face from Pulp Fiction.
Patricia Arquette.
Yes, thank you. No. Is it
No?
Patricia? Is it? No, it's not Patricia Arquette.
I don't remember.
Oh man.
Good for Pulp Fiction. That's the only person I could think of. You're gonna have to find out now. Okay, folks. Now we're gonna pause this episode while Lars desperately looks up facts. I came to this like we might as well talk about this because we're gonna talk about this first episode of Picard next week.
Yeah, because we are going to talk about the
Season 3, Episode 1, the TNG reunion tour. I am half tempted to say they better have had the balls to tap Willie Nelson and start playing On the Road again at some point during the episode when they get everybody together.
Yeah, Amanda Plummer is the actress.
Amanda Plummer, okay.
So yeah, she'll be back as the big bad.
Couldn't remember who was in what.
Interesting side note:
like
Amanda Plummer,
30-some years.
Her father is a Star Trek alum, Christopher Plummer, who played General Chang in Star Trek 6.
So yeah, another bad guy Plummer.
Pretty much. Aren't all Plumbers bad guys? Oh no, Mario.
Except Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, they're good guys.
You have to go to Wario and Waluigi for bad plumbers.
Yep, that's right.
Unless it's in that Mario Brothers movie from the 90s, in which case everybody's bad.
Yep,
they're in that movie.
Everybody's bad.
That movie's worse than Nemesis.
That movie's almost as bad as Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds.
I don't hate that movie, actually.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that with the kind of hatred I reserve for Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman?
Yes. Hugh Jackman.
The burning hatred you can only have for movies that don't exist from the Abrams verse and Wizards of the Coast, because never letting that one go.
Never.
Okay, do we really have anything else other than it's a reunion tour and there's a lot of ships flying around, explosions, and Seven, all that?
No, but the other thing to note is that it has been noted that this is going to be the last appearance of Picard on screen going forward.
Will they have the balls to kill him at least?
Please. I mean, they managed to finally kill Kirk, although somehow in a non-canon novel they actually ended up resurrecting Kirk from Viridian 3.
Didn't Shatner write that novel?
He did.
Oh, fuck him. Seriously? Shatner.
So next week we will be talking about the first episode of season 3 of Picard. Be sure to join us when we kind of do a spoilerific review of the episode. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't blow chunks. And so that's all the time we have.
Picard.
Yeah. That's all the time we have for this episode of Treknicity. Be sure to check us out. You can see it down here. See right there. All the nice little social media stuff where you can find us at Treknicity and at Redshirt Geeks. You can also go see us at redshirtgeeks.tv, and you can see all of the stuff that the Redshirt Geeks has created over the last 9 years. 9. Do you realize? 9 years. So next year we'll be having our 10th anniversary. Yay. So that's all we have time for this. And thank you for watching Treknicity. I'm Lars.
I'm Patrick.
And remember to always rock out, but you Spock out. We'll see you next time.